He is a man of many talents, a firefighter, first and foremost, a PT, and a nutrition coach. You can find him on Instagram under @ryan.lear.pt, and Lear spells Lear.
That's right.
Ryan, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me.
Very excited to have you. There's lots of stuff I want to talk to you about, but we got to start somewhere. And my first question is, kids when they're young, boys and even girls, they dream about being a firefighter. And I was definitely one of them. I mean, still now when I have friends take me to a fire station and I get to like sit in the truck, I get excited.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you wanted to be a firefighter?
It wasn't really till later. So early in my life, I didn't have that dream of being a firefighter. My dream was to be a WWE wrestler, like Hulk Hogan, The Rock.
That's even better.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of fizzled out to the wayside. And then I did, for my year 10 work experience, I went in with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, did 5 days of training with them. And that's when I kind of knew. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So, that was year 10.
Wow. What was the appeal then? Do you know? Like, it sounds like it was straight away.
So my brother's a policeman. He's a detective. I saw him go in around that time to the police force, and it just kind of, that drew to me a bit, but I was like, oh, not really, but just a service where you would be helping people. That's kind of always attracted me.
Well, you nailed that on all fronts.
Yeah, exactly. So, so after that, I was just, I was kind of hooked by then. So that was in year 10. Graduated year 12, obviously, and then pretty much applied for the fireys and, was lucky enough to get in straight away.
Did you get in on your first attempt?
Yeah, I got in, so first go. So actually first day of the college, I sit down next to this bloke. Oh, g'day, mate, Ryan. Oh, yeah, I'm Steve. I'm 36. This is my 13th attempt. What about you? And I'm like, I'm this 18-year-old kid. I've got braces in my mouth. I'm going, oh, yeah, I'm 18. First go. He's like, oh, good for you. You could see he was a bit. Yeah, so I don't know why, but I'm just going to call it good luck. And
did Steve get in?
Yeah.
So when you're at the college,
that was day one of the college. Okay. Yeah, so one of my college mates.
So take me back a little bit. What tests do you got to do before you get to the college?
Right, so it's all kind of changed around now. I'm not too familiar with it, but back then, it's an online test, just a general IQ and cognitive test. So kind of like a math test, or the one where this wheel's turning this way, this one's going that way. So you have to work out. And I think there's about 20 questions in 10 minutes, and then some other ones like that.
Is it similar to, I've done the IQ test where you basically get, let's say some of the questions are different shapes, and then you're going to decide which one's the next coming in order. Okay, so it's that type of test.
Yeah, exactly like that. So you do that online.
And did you get your score back for that? Or do they just...
No, they don't give you a score, but then you get offered to go into, I think back then it was Sydney University. So you go in for another test. I think it's more just to prove that it's you and that you didn't get someone else just to do the test. And it's funny, I saw one of my mates from school who did the same test, and he got a 97 in his ATAR at HSE. I definitely didn't get that. I got much lower. So we go in, do the test together, and come out, and he goes, mate, I didn't even finish that. Like, that was so hard. No, I finished it with about 5 minutes to spare. So I don't know if it's just different parts of the brain. Like, I'm just a fiery.
Maybe it's different pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then do you go on to a physical test?
Yeah, so from there, once you've passed, like again, they cull people down. So let's say, I think the average is 5,000 or 6,000 people apply. They'll then cut it down, and then you do a physical. So back then it was like a ladder raise. What else do you have to do?
Pull a hose.
Ladder raise, pulling hose, making sure you can drag things, carry things, making sure they put a like a blacked out face mask on you, and you have to crawl through a tunnel just to see how you're going with claustrophobia.
Oh, so you're blind, like you can't see anything.
You're blinded just to see if you don't freak out under the pressure. And then same thing, you climb to the top of a tower and kind of just look over the edge, and there'll be some shapes on the ground just to make sure that you're 15 levels up, that you're not going to freak out. So they're just doing all these little tests like this.
I would fail right there. So when you went into that test, that physical test, did you know exactly what you were going to get tested in, and did you practice?
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to practice, but they say it. It's all online. So even now, if you go into like Fire and Rescue New South Wales, the website under recruitment. They'll tell you what the test is, so you can practice for it. I think even now there's some familiarization sessions that you can go in and have a go. But back then, yeah, so it was a beep test and then all these different kind of firefighting fitness drills and skills, yeah.
What was that test experience like for you? Were you like, I've got to nail this on the first go? Or?
Yeah, there was a bit of pressure. Some of the stuff, it felt pretty easy, and then you do it under a bit of nerves. And also you're wearing all the firefighting gear as well, so that's kind of a freak out that it's a hot day in the middle of summer and you've got all this big sweaty gear on. And then you can kind of see everyone's looking at everyone, like trying to compare themselves to each other and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I show up.
And you were this 18-year-old kid?
18-year-old kid, and there's these massive yoke guys like that could probably go straight into the fireys calendar, and they're doing it. And I'm like, oh God, pressure's on. But yeah, so I was lucky enough to pass that. After that, there was then an interview where you sit down. Obviously, I think there was 2 firefighters and one just like a civilian, like a business manager or something like that.
Yeah.
And just speak to you, obviously. Just
what type of questions did they ask you there?
Interview.
Do you remember anything and what you answered?
Stuff like, what do Fire and Rescue New South Wales do? When have you been in a situation? Something about OH&S. Okay. Like when could an accident have been avoided in the workplace? And I'm 18.
How much experience did you
exactly.
have?
I used to be a swim school teacher, so the only thing I could think of is someone forgot to put down like a slippery when wet sign, and a kid slipped over and cracked his head open. I kind of talked about that for a bit. So
that's good.
Yeah. I can't really remember. Like I said, it'll be 9 years that I've been in the job from next week, actually. So yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it is a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you came through when you were 18, and that must have been one of the youngest firefighters at the time, at least, or even now.
I think that there's definitely a few that like I go around meeting different fireys, and there's a few that have got in around that 18, 19 mark, but it's not too common. I think the average age is kind of that late 20s, early 30s. They tend to look for people with a bit of life experience. I know years ago, they liked people that had trade, so carpenters, sparkies, plumbers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the recruitment, they want our workforce to represent our clientele, just the people of New South Wales. So they want male, female, old, young, people of different cultures, different languages. Like I was at a job the other day, and was he Portuguese or maybe Spanish? And we couldn't understand a word he said. And then one of my mates, Marty, gets off the back of the truck and can speak fluent Spanish. And then all of a sudden they start chatting. Oh yeah, now the fire's down here. But if he could speak Spanish, we'd have no idea where it was or what we'd even have to do. We probably just would have left. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Being 18 and getting into the actual fire is like when you get placed into a station. I think you went to Mount Druitt for your first one.
Yeah.
Surely the other fires would have pulled some pranks in the early days.
So obviously being 18, I still had my green P plates. So I rock up and they've taken the green P plates off, put them on the fire truck, and I had no idea. So I'm like driving around with these P plates on a fire truck.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a few.
And you got to drive the fire truck pretty much straight off the bat?
Yeah, straight away. So you drive the fire truck. You're not allowed to drive under lights and sirens until you've done a few modules and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can drive back from calls or just around to training and stuff. Yeah, there are a few pranks. Some I won't share on the podcast. Don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah.
But no, it was so much fun. I was very lucky to come out. Like I turned 19 during the college. So I was 19 years old when I first went to station. And yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. I think being so young, I tried even harder to be mature, to like say, oh, I don't want to be this kid with braces that's got green P plates, like try to be very mature. And the boys, like they just welcomed me in with open arms, like helped me so much with like training and stuff like that. Cause like I said, I'd try to be like, oh, no, I know, like trying to just not be a 19-year-old, but they just helped me out whenever they could. And yeah, so I'm very lucky to have gone to a station where they're like that, and they've so helped me build to, the kind of career I have now.
I mean, out at Mount Druitt, I assume it would have been quite a busy fire station.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
I mean, in Sydney, you get all kinds. I've got a friend that's a fiery at Narrabeen, and I think that's one of the most quiet fire stations in Sydney. But out that way, I think you would have been quite busy.
Yeah.
Do you recall like an early job that you guys had where you realized like, okay, this is real. Like this is like,
yeah. There was definitely, so coming out of the college and not having the experience, you're so just, oh, there's a fire. Like you just got to go run to the fire, put water on the fire. Whereas the guys there, they're just like, no, like calm down, settle down, and really taught me to slow down and not just race in there. Pardon me. So when you're pulling up to a fire, it's not just, oh, go straight there, put the water on. It's not that simple. You're already responding. You're looking house fire. What's the details? What time of day is it? If it's night, there's probably going to be people sleeping in there. Is it day? Is it school holidays during school? The kids there. And then when you pull up, is the cars parked in the driveway? Might be a sign that people are home. Yeah. Stuff like that. And then then when you get out of the truck, you're looking, where's the fire? Is it in the front? Is it in the back? If we go through the front door, is it going to push it back and spread the fire more? Is it already in the roof? Where's it ventilating? If we open the front door, we're going to let wind in there and let oxygen build the fire. So there's all these things. So when I came into my first fire,
you're 19.
Yeah, exactly. So when I come into my first fire, I'm so just like, oh, get the hose and go. And like, I remember the bloke grabbing me on the back of like my jacket, and he's like, no, calm down. And he's like even talking to me as we're walking in, and I'm like, no, like there's not time. And he's like, no, there's plenty of time. Like it's only 10, 20 seconds, but it just feels like you slow down, you take it all in, and then you go. So that's the biggest thing that I remember. And I was lucky that I had someone with so much experience, because I just would have, if it was just me, I just would have went there and then just, oh yeah, put the water on the fire, that's it. He's like, no, we're not going to go there. Oh, this is what we're going to do, and just talk me through everything. And I was like, wow, like I can't believe that. First of all, he had the patience and just the knowledge to slow down and go in there. Yeah, it was just very impressive.
That's such a good skill to have in life. Yeah. I mean, I can't relate to exactly that, but I've worked with a friend of mine that's a fiery, and his name is Ace. He's a fiery in Melbourne, and he would be a big help at the Schwartz's Challenge events. And running an event, there's just so much stuff happening all the time. There's small things that's going wrong. There's judges needed. There's equipment that needs to get changed. And I just stress out. I'm just running around like a energy bunny and just like trying to get everything done at once. But I could tell that he had a different mindset around those things. And it's like you're explaining, just slow it down, stay calm, and just make sure you do things in the right order, and you're saving so much energy and probably not doing that many mistakes.
Definitely, yeah. So even now, like I've been studying things about breath control, like power, speed, endurance, about just kind of slowing the breath down. So now when I'm responding to a fire, that's what I try to do. Like adrenaline is definitely going through the roof. Like it comes up, house fire, person's reported. So you're like, oh, you're ready to go, but you don't need that energy yet. You try to breathe, slow down, and then that's the thing. When you step out the door of the truck and you see the fire, same thing. You don't just want to rush in there. Trying to take a few deep breaths, trying to slow everything down. Yeah. And same thing when it applies to life or gym or anything like that. Relationships, when you start to get a bit tense, a bit build up, I think that's a big thing that's taught me. It's like, hey, just slow down. Nothing's on fire. It's just you're having stress at work. You're having stress here. Just calm down, take a few deep breaths, and
it's a great lesson. It's something I try and get better at. I'm not good at that at all.
No, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I'm very energetic, but I do try and think about that at work sometimes, that when some things go wrong and it doesn't go the way I want it to do or the way I've planned it, it's like, wow, we're not saving lives here. Like it's not like we're at a hospital and someone's, there's huge consequences from it. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's an awesome lesson. Actually, one video I saw that came out of all the bushfires, that reminds me about that. And it was, you might have seen it as well. It was a safety camera or a security camera that filmed a fire truck and I think another car pulling up at a rural scene, like a house or a farm. And I think they were meant to do a kind of a safety check because the fire was coming that way. Yeah. And then they get a call that the wind direction had changed and they had to get out of there real quick. Yeah. And that all happened in 2-3 minutes. Yeah. But so if I heard that and knew the fire was coming, I would probably just panicked and like everything just gone out the window. But they were it's weird to watch it. I watched it a couple of times because they're so calm during it and they get everything done. And then I think actually the truck is like reversing a bit in the beginning to get out and then they drive away. Yeah. And fuck, it was like 30 seconds, a minute later, that whole thing is ablaze.
We actually taught in the college not to run because if Imagine if you're at the scene of a fire as a civilian and you see the fiery show up and start running around, like it'd be this panic. Like everyone's going to start, they're freaking out. So obviously we're taught to move with urgency, but you don't want to start running around, don't want to start freaking out. Obviously when the shit hits the fan, you will have to, but that's the thing that we're taught, to slow down. Like we didn't start the fire.
Yeah.
Move with urgency. But the big thing is we don't want to start freaking other people out. We just want everything to be calm and we're going to do our job properly. That's what we've been trained for. So move with urgency, but definitely don't start running. So I can imagine in their minds, they would have been probably freaking out a bit, but just no, slow down. What do we have to do? We're going to get out of here.
Fuck, that's just a different, it's so hard to understand how strong-minded they are. Really. Yeah. So with the bushfires that's been going on now, this summer has been terrible. It's one of the worst we've had in years and years. Yeah. Have you? And luckily, we've had a lot of rain now, so it's been pouring, which we're all very glad that's happened. But have you been out on any of the fires at all? Or?
Yeah, so mainly Blue Mountains and out west. So the truck that I'm on is an aerial appliance. So what that means, it's got a big ladder on it. So it's not really suited for bushfires. It's more for large factory fires, house fires and stuff like that. And it's urban a lot heavier. Yeah, it's a lot heavier. So I've been involved a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, I haven't been down south or anything like that where I've heard stories from other fires where it's just been, you can see it on video, but they're like, until you're there and you hear it, you feel it, and you can, like the darkness, they said, is just, it's just pretty heavy. Some of the stories I've been told, but yeah, like I said, thankful for the rain now, so that's good. I think I heard on the radio that all fires in New South Wales are under control.
Are they now?
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
That's good. So so now hopefully the rebuilding of all the poor towns that have been devastated by it.
Is there any work that the fireys have now? So after the fires are out, what's kind of, because I'm sure that's not it. And do they just leave it? Like, what's kind of required now? What's happening with those communities?
I think that just depends town to town, community to community, and that's more about their local government and then their local brigade. So that's also the RFS. But I'd say that'd be more local government, what they do and where the towns are, and then all this money that's been donated, where it's going to go and things like that.
Yeah, hopefully, like, one of the things I've seen they try and encourage is for both Australians and people from overseas to still come to Australia and come to these areas 100%. And spend their money and, go on holidays. Yeah. Because that's probably the biggest help they can get.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Putting money into that economy, what they've done. If that's any way that people want to help, that's what they should do. Like, Google search these towns that have been devastated, what's open. Like I was down at Jindabyne not so long ago, and they said, before the fires, our hotel was booked out. I couldn't even get anything. And now we're lucky to have 1 or 2 rooms a night. So those local business owners, you can see they've been devastated. And the fire's not anywhere near them.
I was just going to say, did it burn around Jindabyne?
No, but just people are that devastated. I think it burned close to, but not directly Jindabyne, but they're just, I think they don't want to go down there just in case. And it's fair enough for them. But like I said, that's the best way that people can help out, is putting money back in those local communities directly going down there.
Yeah, I think donating to, the Red Cross and all of those foundations is great as well. But it is always something that's at the back of my mind. It's hard to know where this money is actually going. And I'm sure a lot of them are like fully legit and there's nothing that, of course, no one at the top there that gets too much paid or whatever. But when you go and travel there and you spend money, it's different. You see it hands on.
Definitely, putting the money straight in.
Yeah. So with another thing that I wanted to talk to you about being a firefighter, and that I find fascinating because obviously I'm a lot into health and fitness and that kind of space. What is it like to be a shift worker? Because you've got about 48 hours on and then 4 days off roughly. Explain, because you're a very healthy and fit individual as well. You train a lot. Yeah, and how do you manage that?
So we're very lucky. So our roster works 24 hours on, 24 hours off, and then another 24 hours on. And then we get some days off. So your circadian rhythm, obviously I can go into all that, but just to get into a routine. So we're lucky compared to people like nurses, cops, ambos, anyone who works shift work, that at least we get a set routine. Theirs can be all over the place. Like my brother's roster will just be days for a week, and then we'll get some days off. Then it'll be nights, and there'll be others, and then it's just kind of all over. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. Like he's got a little baby as well, so he wouldn't be getting too much sleep. But at least our one's kind of set. Like I can look at, if I'm on B platoon, I'll look at my roster. I can look at Christmas 2023 and know if I'm working or not. Like it's just the same 8-day repeating cycle. And then we're also lucky enough, being a firefighter, that we respond to calls. So from the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., we can recline and rest. So that means we can...
You get to sleep a
little bit. We get to sleep,
yeah.
So we just wait for the bells to go off, which measuring it with my Whoop, like a sleep activity tracker, you never get good quality sleep at a fire station. Something subconsciously where I never get into that deep...
Do you get a deep sleep? Yeah, I was going to ask.
If I do, it's a few minutes of deep sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, something subconsciously where you never get there. Like I've seen it before where it measures your heart rate, albeit maybe in my deep sleep, 42 beats per minute heart rate. All of a sudden the bells go off for a house fire and it jacks right up to 180. So
straight away goes back down.
So yeah, it's more just getting in that routine, which we're very lucky that we kind of have a set routine. We know when we're working, but and then just trying to sleep whenever you can. Like I'm a really bad napper. I just feel like I've always got things to do.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to relax and nap. But the good thing with our roster as well, ask any shift worker, it's not really the first night that's the hardest. It's that second night. You finish, say, in the morning at 7 a.m. and you're looking at your watch, you're like, great, I've got to be back here in 8 hours or 9 hours. Whereas us, we'll do a full 24 hours, have another 24 hours off. So even if you have the worst night, you're up for 24 hours, you know you can go home, have a nap, wake up, and then have another full night's sleep before you have to come back. Whereas other people, like, I don't know how some of these nurses and stuff do it, where they have a terrible night. And like I said, they look at their watch and they're like, all right, I can go home, sleep, go to the gym, and then I'm back here. And
it'd be interesting to see the biometrics from them. I think Whoop, they talk about it on their podcast. They do have their bands on a lot of shift workers.
Yeah, I recommend any shift worker to get this, because... get a Whoop band just to measure how they're going and measure their sleep debt, because it would surprise you. Some people, oh no, I function all right, but then you forget that they're all right is a 5 out of 10 when they could be operating so much higher.
And then read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and then you get real
fascinating
scared.
Book. Just...
So what do you do in your 4 days off? Do you try and go back to a normal routine straight away? And do you manage to do that? Or
most of the time I can. Like I'm a bad napper, but I'm a good sleeper. Like I go to bed pretty early. Coaching the 7 p.m. class, it's pretty late for me. I'm usually settled down reading in bed. But yeah, just trying to get in that routine, even if it kind of like jet lag, if you have to force yourself up or if you have to have a quick nap and then get into the routine as quick as you can.
What do you mean by force yourself up? So in the middle of the night, if you wake up and you're kind of awake-ish, do you get up and then go back to sleep?
No. So that let's say I finish night shift at 7 a.m. and then I'm not too tired, but then it gets to 3 o'clock or maybe say 4, maybe a bit later, 4 p.m. And I know that if I have a sleep now, I'll probably wake up 5:30 and then I might be awake till midnight. I just kind of force myself to just stay awake, stay busy, and then I'll probably crash at about 8 p.m, go to bed and sleep in,
Do you use caffeine at 4 p.m, 5 p.m. then?
No, I try not to. I try because I've seen that caffeine definitely affects your ability not to go to sleep necessarily, but to get in those deeper stages of sleep. And I figure my logic, if I'm missing out on those deep stages of sleep on shift, like I'm lucky enough to sleep sometimes at work. I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
But if I'm missing out on deep sleep here, I have to make up for it here. So I'd rather skip out on the caffeine. I try to cut off caffeine around 1 p.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
And make up those deeper stages of sleep when I actually can.
Yeah, I had that last night. So I had a coffee yesterday at 2 p.m, which is late for me.
Yeah.
And I can see that affects my sleep.
Yeah.
Because I go to bed at like 8:39 p.m.
Right.
And I've got the Oura Ring and tracks my sleep as well, and I can tell straight away.
Mitch Davis, owner like CrossFit Kirawee, where I work, where I coach, he did the 6 p.m. class last night, and I was coaching, and he was taking pre-workout before the 6 p.m. class. I was like,
with caffeine,
the true pre-workout. I'm like, you are an absolute psychopath.
He can get pre without caffeine. I still think it jacks you up though. I stay off that. But and
he knows. You go, it affects my sleep. I'm like, then why? He's like, no, I just need it.
Does he have the Whoop band?
Yeah, he does. He's like, every time I have it, so I always give it to him because he did it last week, and then before the class, he's shaking off his true shaker.
Come on, Mitch. Start looking after yourself. I see he's back training and lifting a barbell a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good after his
Just
back
got to be
surgery.
careful. Yeah. So you now train and work as a trainer at CrossFit Kirrawee.
Yeah.
But I always got to ask, and generally that's an interesting story, right? It's like, how did you discover CrossFit in the beginning for you?
Well, okay, so long. I'm trying to make this short. So I was a water polo player for most of my life. Played at like some state levels, and then.
And you played with Nick Babot?
Yeah, I played with Nick Babot, former guest. So we used to play in some state teams. He played for Cronulla. I played for Drummoyne. So we'd always, the water polo community, it's a very tight knit. So we'd kind of know each other, see each other around. So after water polo, I played like National League. And I'd always have hip pain, back pain, never knew why. So I went in to see a physio and then a surgeon. Turns out I had a hip impingement on both hips.
From water polo?
So it's called a cam impingement, which the surgeon tells me, I don't know how true this is, that 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people have it, but they never develop pain because they don't do the movements that...
that inflames the pain.
That inflames the pain. That's the word I was looking for. Yep. So pretty much at the age of 23, I was developing arthritis in my hips.
Wow.
From the egg beater kick that we do in water polo to tread water.
Yep.
So pretty much that was just grinding away, like the head of the femur into the joint was grinding away and I was getting hip pain. So I think on my left leg, I had 5 degrees of internal rotation. And on the right leg, I had less than 5. So the surgeon said, I don't even know how you can tread water, let alone like stay upright in the water with this amount. So that was when I was kind of winding down from water polo anyway.
You, roughly?
I think I was like 22, 23, so fairly young. And then with work and stuff, like for water polo, you have to train. It's pretty much an everyday thing. Didn't really have time, so I stopped playing, had my hip surgery. So hip surgery on both hips, which was super fun, walking around with 2 limps.
In your early 20s.
In my early 20s, yeah.
Crazy.
My mate was actually working at the hospital at the time, and I had to stay overnight. He's like, mate, you are the youngest person in this ward by about 50 years. Other people in their 70s having hip surgery.
Youngest firefighter and youngest hip surgery.
For the record, So after that, I had my hip surgery and... going from training every day, seeing all my mates every day to now being stuck at home, it was a very low point for me. I don't call it depression because I've seen what true depression actually is. I just like to say it was a period in my life that I had a bit of low energy. And my brother started training at CrossFit Locust out at Castle Hill. And he could kind of see, I think, that I was pretty down. So he's like, just come along, just sit down and just kind of watch what we do. So I sat there and I sit down in a chair watching them, and there's blokes snatching 100 kilos and doing muscle ups. And I'm sitting there with 2 broken hips, just going, how good's this? But yeah, I couldn't believe it. It looked pretty cool, all the stuff they're doing, these fit people, and especially because I was so broken seeing them do these ass to grass squats, whereas I can barely bend my legs. So after that, I was like, yeah, right, I want to give this a go. So during my rehab stages, I started training at CrossFit with the head coach there, Jimmy Mann. And I just remember...
Oh, yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Forget about that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, he's a good man. So doing my, obviously, rehab at a physio, but then he could say what I can and can't do. So I'd just be sitting on an airdyne and pedaling just with my arms. And eventually I worked up to... squatting a 16 kilogram kettlebell to, like, I don't even know. It was barely a quarter squat. And I was like, oh, how good's this? I'm getting so strong. I think I had lifters on as well for that big lift. My brother had bought me some lifters to pick up my mood.
Yeah.
And then just eventually, I never went back to water polo. I just enjoyed CrossFit or weight training a lot more. But yeah, it was just cool just seeing the process of, like I said, I'm squatting a 16 kilogram kettlebell quarter way. And then, I can finally hit depth on a squat, or I can do a barbell back squat. I can, so I just love that whole process. Because even during water polo, I tell people this, it wasn't necessarily the sport of water polo that I loved. It was more just the camaraderie, the training, the competition, like hanging out with my mates every day. Like we'd have, like, I was 18 and 19, obviously, playing, like we'd fly to Perth for a 4-game road trip.
So fun, those trips, eh?
Play on a Thursday night, finish, get absolutely wasted. And then just showing up the next day and doing the same thing again. Like, some of my best memories was that fun. So coming into CrossFit, it was like, obviously without the drinking so much, it was more drinking fit aids. It was that same camaraderie of training together and just like, even though everyone's kind of doing different things, you're all kind of doing it together. It doesn't matter if you're someone snatching over 100 kilos or me trying to snatch a PVC pipe to quarter squat. It was just kind of the camaraderie and the
CrossFit fills that gap so well for people that have a competitive sporting background in a team. It's
it's definitely why so many ex-athletes, if you want to call it, sporting people get into it. And I think a lot of emergency services get into it as well, because it's the same thing. Like as fireys, we always work in a team, and then like in CrossFit, you're not necessarily working as a team, but you're kind of working together. Like I've had so many fireys. Oh, CrossFit. Those weird pull-ups. Oh, they can't be good for you. I was like, just come try it out. They're like, oh no, it looks dangerous. Like and they come down and they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I think it attracts those ex-athletes, but then also the emergency services and army, people like that, where you're working as a team, but you're kind of competing. So I think, it fills that gap, like you said.
Absolutely. And then how did you go from kind of frothing hard on CrossFit to, was that the kind of spark that turned you into PT as well?
So I got in the fireys, and then obviously we get a few days off, and I was thinking, what can I do just to fill in the gap? As I started working with one of my dad's mates just as a labourer, just plumbing, just digging holes and stuff like that. And that was all right just for a bit of extra cash. But I was kind of thinking, if I do this, I don't really want to do this for the rest of my life just to make money. So why don't I do something that I'm actually interested in? And obviously like a bit of a hobby income. Like I don't think anyone becomes a CrossFit coach to be rich. Like I think there's definitely smarter ways to be rich. They do it obviously because they love it, and they get money as well, which is a bonus. So I started studying, did a PT course online, and then just...
You did your Cert 3 and 4 online?
Yeah, Cert 3 and 4 online, then had to do some practical hours. So I had a mate who had a gym out west, just kind of like a PT boot campy style gym. I did my practical hours with him, and he offered me a job. So I worked there, which was really good.
Do you remember like your first PTs or classes that you coached? Were you a bit nervous? Or?
I was very nervous. There was these a lot of middle-aged women who were making some funny remarks at me, at this young kid.
They were just teasing you?
Yeah, pretty much just giving it to me, like giving it to the new kid just to see if I handled it. But that was good. They seemed to accept me after that, which is nice.
It's funny when you start out as a PT because you're so nervous and you over-prepare like crazy for the first sessions you have. And then 2 years later, you realize, well,
that's exactly right. I over-prepared so much, and I'm trying to cue them on these squats and teach them about all this stuff, and they don't care. They just want to break a bit of sweat, hang out with their mates, and just say, oh yeah, I've squatted this or I've done this. Yeah. But I was so like full on trying to explain it to them, and most of them, they don't really care. Some of them appreciate it and stuff like that, but they just want to learn, am I doing it right? I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm going to burn some calories.
It goes over their head, right? And when you start as a PT, you probably give them 20 different cues, and they take in one or two of those. So you're just overdoing it. That's what I did.
It's funny.
Well.
One of the girls at the CrossFit gym, she just comes just to train. She's great. One of the other coaches goes, go grab the 15 kilo bar. And this is like her second day. And she just looks at me. She's like, how am I supposed to know what the 15 kilo bar is? Like, just tell me which bar to grab.
It's so true though.
You can see that we're so in that CrossFit world of learning all these things. They're just like, just tell me what to do. That's all I want.
I had a group in from like the boys from Jiu-Jitsu came in and just did a session.
Yeah.
And one of the things I didn't think about is that they don't know how all the med balls weigh different. Because they've been used for a few years. The number is in pounds. It's a little bit like, washed out. And they all just have different weights from like 30 pounds to like 8 pounds. And I'm like, wait, hold on.
Just slow down.
You forget about all that stuff. This is so, every
it's
day
like
for
our
you.
thing. Yeah, it's just, I can't, I saw one of the the NRL players had a quote in the paper the other day that one of the boys in the team can squat 300.
300 what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like.
300 kilos.
300 pounds. Is he doing a leg press or something like that? I was like, I don't think he's squatting 300 kilos. If he is, he needs to quit footy and take up powerlifting.
A hack squat or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I was speaking to my mate because my mate was blowing up. He's like, how does he not know what he's doing? Like, this is what he gets paid for. I'm like, mate, he doesn't get paid to lift weights. I can guarantee you most footy players, I shouldn't say most, some footy players don't care what they do in the gym. They get paid to play footy. They love footy. See, for us, our footy is the gym. We love it. Oh, we want to learn about this internal talk and external, all this stuff. Whereas
that's a good point.
What do I have to do? I want to get stronger. Oh, yeah. Do I have to put on weight? Do I have to lose weight?
Yeah, we're like into all the details.
Yeah.
So did you pretty quickly like go towards the nutrition part as well?
Yeah. So for me, I think you get attracted to what you've done in like your past experience. So for me, I've tried every diet in the world. When the paleo thing was a thing, that was what I was doing. When keto came out, like carbs are the devil and stuff like that, kind of white rice or white potatoes. So that's what attracted to me. And especially there's so much crap out there. Like, it's getting better now.
It's confusing for people. For like we just talked about with training, right?
Yeah.
For your average person who's not into it, all the nutritional advice now is so confusing.
Yes.
You know, there's people doing the carnivore diet. There's people, the game changers on Netflix.
Oh my God.
I understand that people are very confused.
Yeah. 100%. My nan for Christmas used to give me a men's fitness subscription, the magazine that come out. And this was when I was probably younger, like 18, 19, and reading that. And every week you'd be like, oh, yeah, white potatoes, can't have that. Then the next week it'd come out, oh, white potatoes, yeah, they're really
gotta
good
have
for
more carbs.
It's just like so much misinformation out there. So now I used to think, oh, people are just lazy. Like, this is when my early days of PTing, like they just need to train harder and eat clean, whatever that means. But now I've gone the other way where I just think there's so much like just misinformation and crap out there that how can people decipher? And that's
probably why they give up a little bit.
Exactly. And I think now Instagram's kind of making a turn for the better. That back in the day, and I was very turned off Instagram and social media in general, because you'd go online, you'd see this chick, and what is she even promoting? It's just a photo of her ass, and then there's a
juice diet.
There's a fit tea in the background or something. Yeah. But now there's so much good information being spread around that I think it's now kind of come full circle.
I think didn't they take off that fit tea thing as well? I
hope so.
But I think actually Instagram took that account off.
Yeah, right.
Or deleted it, or just banned them or something, because it was clearly like bullshit.
Yeah.
For most people, that's just not going to help. But yeah, I agree. I mean, social media that's another like big topic, right? It's I'm very active on my accounts at posting.
Yeah.
But I'm very inactive at using it or being on. Like, if I sit there and scroll and I catch myself having scrolled for like 10 minutes, I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
I have that the time management. What's that app called?
Me too.
On it?
There's
every day I go over it.
Yes. So you can use now. You got an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use screen time. It shows you how much time you spend on the phone. What's your average a day?
I don't even want to look. I always set an hour of screen time of just say, all right, like lock it off. Every day I go over an hour.
Yeah, an hour. That's actually, I mean, if you use it for some productivity stuff, an hour isn't very long. So I average around 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I've seen people, I mean, we work with a lot of social media influencers. They're like 6 to 7 hours a day.
We have a kid that comes in to train, and his shoulders are like that rounded forward. And you can see he's walking in with his phone.
Got good internal rotation.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking down, and then he takes the phone away, but his shoulders are so forward.
Neck's messed up.
Neck's forward.
Yeah.
But so that turned me off social media in general. But like I said, it's come the other way around now. So I hope it does.
Yeah, there's a lot of positivity out there, and it's obviously a great platform for people like me to get stuff out. 100%. And there's good stuff out there.
And that was the other thing. Even posting in general, I was kind of like maybe being a bit insecure. I'm like, oh, what do people have to care what I say? Like, I just put up some posts about nutrition or training and stuff like that, and try to make it a bit relatable to people.
Yeah.
So I used to think, oh, what do people care? But that's the whole point of following someone. If you don't want to follow them, just don't.
That's exactly right.
You don't care. Just like my missus, she blows up so many times. She'll see, oh, look at what this person's posting. I'm like,
unfollow them.
Don't follow them. She goes, no, I like to follow them. It's funny. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very common. I see that a lot. But another thing, actually, back to a point we talked about before, you can now, and I've started using this in the last couple of weeks, is lock all your apps between a certain amount of time. So lock them after 6:30 p.m. and they don't come back on until 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So it really helps you switch off in the evening, get off your phone, get off the blue light LEDs or whatever it is. And I've been really, and that's been helpful. Even
on a night shift, like I'll be coming back from a call at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I just find I'm just sitting there driving, obviously in the backseat, not actual driving, and just get out my phone and check Instagram. I'm like, what's happening on Instagram at 3 a.m. in the morning? But it's just that habit of
just automatic.
Yeah.
It's such a easy, thing for us to get to because we're a little bit bored.
Yeah.
And you see that, I drive past DY on my way to work, and there's a huge lineup of people that is jumping on the Beeline bus. I mean, that lineup must be between 30 and 50 people. It's huge.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phone, neck down.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad that it's come a little bit to that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, because I try to, like my job is have a certain amount of creativity to it. And what I find is that when you get bored, in the sense that you let your mind wander and you're not occupied with something, that's when you come up with good ideas and stuff. You're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like I really noticed that on my first surf trip to the Maldives because I had 10 days without internet. And I wasn't really on my phone at all. And then we would travel from one break to another. That could be 3 hours on a boat. There's nothing there. It's just the ocean. And you chat with your mates and stuff and you read a book, but it's quite a lot of time to kill. And then every now and then you just sit there doing nothing. And that's when you start thinking. And letting your mind wander like that, I don't think that happens with people these days.
And also though, like we talk about a lot about the negatives, but connecting people, like the positivity, I never would have come on here if it wasn't for social media. I probably never would have got my job at CrossFit Kirrawee because when I first moved to the Shire, I didn't really know, but I found, Mitch is a mate of Nolan's, who's a mate of just kind of...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's how you... So you didn't know Mitch and you kind of just rocked up there and tried to get a job?
So Mitch did a weightlifting... Mitch and Amy Alessi came out and did a weightlifting competition out at a gym out at Castle Hill where I was training at, and I did the weightlifting competition. This is when I was like, I can finally squat. How good's this?
Oh, man.
So I was very proud of myself. I snatched 75 kilos and... power cleaned and kind of pressed, jerked 100 kilos. And I thought, I'm pretty strong. And Mitch is about 20 kilos lighter than me. I think he snatched 110 or maybe even more. I think it was like 114 and clean and jerk something ridiculous. Amy Alessi, I think, out-snatched me by 2 kilos. And I think she cleaned something like that. And I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, how crazy is it to watch that live, hey?
Very impressive. I was like, so that's how a snatch is supposed to be done. All right.
Yeah. So that's kind of came into the back of your head then. It's like, all right, I want to maybe go and train with these guys?
No, so I moved to the Shire. I used to live out west, moved it to the Shire with my missus. And then I'd always kind of followed Mitch on Instagram and Amy and just kind of chatted here and there, like just responding to each other. And then when I said, I was like, I'm interested in moving. I'm interested in training, moving to the Shire. He's like, yep, come in anytime. And then, so I started training there for a bit. Then after a while, I said, I'd really like to start coaching. And he's like, we just so happen to need a coach, so everything
perfect. You're very lucky that you live down there, and it's such a great gym.
I don't know what I've done, but I'm a very lucky man.
So with going back to the nutrition, what did you do to kind of what qualifications do you have, I guess, as a nutrition
I'm just
coach?
A precision nutrition level 1 coach.
You did precision nutrition.
So they're really good. I've had a lot of people come to me that I've had to refer, go to a dietitian, go somewhere else because I'm just the basic.
You're a coach basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all I say I am. I don't pretend I'm anything else. My favorite thing is helping people of like, what's protein? They're like, so a sausage roll. I'll be like, not really. Like, I like to help those kind of people that have no idea. I've had other people that are, my mate was interested in doing a bodybuilding show. I said, mate, that is well out of my league. So I referred him on. Like, I still help him out here and there now that he's done it and he's back and he just needs some help. Same thing. A girl came to me and it turns out she had a very bad eating disorder. And same thing. I said, I'll help you out, but here's someone that you can refer to because this is beyond my scope, and still actually keeps in touch with me, and I still help her out because I don't think she can pretty much afford to go see a nutritionist and a psychologist, so I still help her out here and there. But
it's that's a great point. It's same as Tash, who's the owner and trainer at my gym, right? She's a coach there, and she took the precision nutrition course to upskill herself and be able to offer more to our members in general. But you're spot on, right? Like the same as she says. It's like that's there will be people that you can't help and you have to refer them on something else. You're not a professional nutritionist, which is slightly different.
And it's a lot about I recommend anyone should do it. It's great. Like it's all online. I think it's $1,000 or so. Like it's not overly expensive, but it's more because you can kind of Google and find out all the information you want on nutrition, but it's a lot to do with the psychology, which is, I think, the best part. And like we said, with the misinformation, that's the biggest thing. And right now, I've seen a lot of people have bad relationships with food. Like, I've got to do an extra cardio session because I had some ice cream and stuff like that. I was like,
had a cheat day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They see The Rock eating pancakes and they're like, oh yeah, I've got to do that as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come to me and just more want to improve their relationship with food, which is what I'm all about. Like, not feeling guilty, not wanting to punish yourself, like fuel for performance if you're doing CrossFit or just for life in general. Like if you got young kids and stuff, you want to have energy, you want to have some vitality. You don't want to be starving yourself just to lose a couple of kilos.
And we've just been through the holidays. You want to be social as well.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can't eat anything.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. You go out to a nice restaurant and be like, oh, what's your chicken and broccoli like? You want to kind of enjoy it a bit.
So with the stuff that you see through the people that you help, what are some, I always ask this, like what are some of the common mistakes and where do you feel like people can improve the most in the basics? Quite a broad question.
Yeah.
And
I'm
not
trying to
always
think
easy
of
to
a few
answer.
people that have spoken to me. I think that the 80-20 rule of obviously 80% whole foods and nutrient dense foods, and then the 20% of kind of just treat yourself, you know?
Yeah.
However, it's hard to recommend that because some people's 80-20 turns into like a 60-40 and something like that.
And is it 80-20 per day or is it 80-20 per week or 80-20 per month? That's quite like...
So yeah, I always think including more whole foods rather than saying, oh, less bad food, whatever that means. So trying to always improve rather than take away, or trying to add, rather than take away. That's the biggest thing. Because if you have a beautiful nutrient-dense dinner, chances are like that ice cream is not going to be too appealing. Like, or if you have a massive steak, you're not going to want the ice cream, or you might still, but rather than if you have just fries and a burger, that ice cream's a lot more appealing because you're not that full, stuff like that. So trying to always add in more nutrient-dense foods rather than saying take away, no, I'm not going to have ice cream, I'm going to do this, eat clean. It's like, no, why don't you just aim to be better, and then that way you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Like if you have a dinner and you eat, on that plate is, let's say, half a broccoli that's been steamed or something, and you eat it. It's like after that, you don't feel like eating crap. Yeah. But sometimes if I'm a bit weak or tired or whatever, I come home, I'll eat the ice cream first.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, damage already done.
My missus made this caramel slice that we were supposed to give away to people. Like she made about 2 kilos of it. And I'd never, I have caramel slice, I love it.
So good.
But because it was in the fridge, I was just like, we're having dinner at 6:30. It's 6. I might just have like half a kilo of caramel slice. It's like, I didn't, like why? But yeah, if it was never there, I never would have had it. And chances are if I just wait till after dinner, oh no, I'm good, I'll just have a tiny bit. But because I had it before dinner, about 3,000 calories of caramel slice, and then I was still hungry.
And that's another great point, is like what's in your house is what you end up eating. Like don't trick yourself. If you go to the shops and you buy a bag of chips or chocolate or something, and you're just going to keep it at home for an emergency, that doesn't last very long at home. I did a post about this the other day. Brie and I, we went out for Messina, which is like, like if you're going to have ice cream, like treat yourself. Don't just get like a crappy ice cream from the servo. But just the psychology of it. If I want ice cream and it's in the fridge, I'll just grab one. 15 seconds, done. Whereas if you want ice cream, now I've got to drive to Messina. can I really be bothered? And I asked her, do you want to go? Yeah, let's go. So now it's a 15-minute decision rather than a 15-second one. So we must have really wanted Messina to be able to get changed, get in the car, drive to Miranda, go and get some ice cream. And then you enjoy it a little bit as well.
Exactly, then it feels like nice,
I mean, that's what I often say is that the best nutrition book I've ever read, and I haven't done precision nutrition, so maybe that's the best one, but the best one I say is always Atomic Habits, because it talks about it's such a good book, and it talks about that. Make those decisions that you don't really always want to do, make them harder, not impossible, but make them a little bit harder, and then you're gonna decrease the amount of time that you do that. And that's exactly what
And that's what I've seen. I've got a girl who's shredding for the wedding.
Yeah,
for
wet
her
shred.
Wed shred. And she's so, it's 6 months away or it's 5 months away. I was like, just get today right, whatever that means for you. Like hit your calories or whatever it is, hit your calories, go for a walk, go to the gym, and then go to sleep. And then you wake up the next day. All right, I'm going to get today right. And then you go to sleep. All right, I'm going to get today right. And then, like I said, those the habits, they build up to long term.
Yeah, I love the saying that kind of a big thing that Lockie from the Mind Muscle Project said from that book is that, you know, people come, they're highly motivated this time of year to go start at a gym and they want to like go for 8 weeks and lose X amount of kilos and become like, you know, slimmer.
Yeah.
But it's much better if you start building your identity around being a healthy person and going to the gym. And that's just what you do. It's not like you're trying to achieve this goal in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You got to slowly put it into your daily habit. And then you, after a while, it's like what's happened to me over the last 12 years. It's like, I just go to the gym. That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just who I am.
So funny story. So one of my mates from the Fireys, he's like kind of on his New Year's resolution, trying to get healthier. So we get an hour in the gym when we're on station. Obviously, if we have time, we get an hour. So I try to just do something easy. Like I try to treat it as my rest day, active recovery day. So I did a row, did some intervals on the rower. I'm quite, being 6'1" and almost 100 kilos, I'm all right on the rower. So I did...
Better than me.
So I did some 500 meter intervals, just starting at a slow pace, like around 210. Then you'd go to a 205 pace, 2 minute pace. And I think I went down to 135, which is like going, but it's still...
It's my max speed.
Yeah. So it's still not like, my max would be 123. So it's like still 90% or whatever. So he sees that. I go, he's a pretty competitive guy. He goes, oh yeah, so what'd you do? I was like, oh, I told him. He's like, oh yeah, I reckon I could do that. So he does it. For me, it's an active recovery. For him, it was an all-out going. He's on the floor at the end of it. So yeah, he was pretty cooked after that.
Yeah.
About an hour later, we get a call to a house fire.
Oh no.
So that's what, at the fire station, I never try to do anything too intense. I just try to, because that's happened to me before. Like he was fine, but years ago, my mate did the exact same thing. And pretty much we're in the house. Obviously, it is ridiculously hot. Like think of that worst part at the end of a sauna.
Yeah.
Times 10, and you're just so uncomfortable, but you're in there. So he's on the hose and I'm helping. I'm doing a bit of a search and he goes, oh, I'm not feeling too good, eh? Like this is in the peak of summer. I'm like, oh, here, I'll take the hose off him. And he's just like standing there. And then he just starts like bending over, getting lower and lower. No. I was like, oh, are you all right? He goes, no, I'm not good, eh? So I had to radio the boss and say, we're going to need a crew exchange. So we had to end up going out here to get treated by ambos and stuff like that because he did a big gym session. Yeah. And then on a 40-degree day, getting the house fire, he was...
Guess he's dehydrated.
Yeah.
Might have had some lactic buildup.
Oh, it's funny now because he's fine. But at the time, I was like, oh, God. Yeah. So now, I had a house fire this summer. 40-degree day. I think I had about 8 liters of water, electrolytes, like all this, like try to balance my sodium, potassium for the next few days, especially measuring my recovery on Whoop. I was just cooked, like just that dehydrated, the severe dehydration that I must have got. Luckily, I had some days off, so I was fine, but just it is the most intense work that you'll do.
Because you have that your whole kit on as well. It must be, how much does that even weigh?
I think it's around, with the breathing apparatus as well, it's around 25 kilos, but
25?
Yeah. Oh, so the thing is, it keeps heat out so well. Like our uniforms now are so good. Like the technology is advanced. We're so lucky compared to back in the day where it's like, oh yeah, just put this jacket on. So it keeps the heat out, but the downside of that is it keeps your heat in.
Oh, so your body temperature.
Yeah, so your body temperature. So you'll sweat. Like I'm a pretty big guy. I'll run pretty hot. So I sweat, get so hot. Like I said, it's that uncomfortable point of a sauna. Yeah. You're just there, but then, just stay there for an hour. And also, like you may want to get out, but there might be persons in here that you have to go or you need to put out fire. Yeah. So we're very lucky that the technology is advanced and come so far, but still, it has its downsides.
I guess it's always going to have some downside.
Of course,
It's protecting you from fire. It's pretty serious.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't believe I'm going to ask you this, but have you ever done Fran in your fire kit?
No, God, no.
Oh, good answer. No. I remember in the early days, I saw some people do that. I'm like, that doesn't look like a good idea. No, that's
psychopath tendencies. I can't believe I couldn't even... Like I've seen people do it for charity and stuff like that, and I'd definitely do it.
Yeah,
so I did this there's a great thing that a fire's organised, the Climb Sydney Tower for motor neurons disease. So Centrepoint Tower, which is, I forget how many floors, but along. So we have to do that for charity. We do it in our full structural gear, boots, with our breathing apparatus on. And when I did it, I think it may have been 2 or 3 years ago, same thing, hot day. There's not too much ventilation in a fire staircase. It only takes, I think it took the top dogs like 12 minutes. I think some people like 12 to 20 minutes to get up there, like running. But people were, as soon as they got out the top, they were just stripping down. People were taking their shirts off, just trying to cool down, just to get the body temperature.
Yeah, I mean, 12 minutes, that's a painful time period to work in as well.
Yeah, the lactic in the quads.
12 minutes. Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah.
Are you, so how much do you get to train CrossFit now that you got your schedule as a firefighter? Do you try and do like 5 days a week or?
I try to just listen to my body. So I don't like to set any days, because some days I feel like I can train 8 days in a row and just be fine or whatever it is. And then other days I just try to have a rest. I always try to do something, like I said, at the fire station, just something light, like an active recovery or a stretch or just some bodybuilding. But I try to listen to my body and just rest when it kind of needs it, which again,
listen to Whoop.
Yeah. I'm the biggest, like, I should get a sponsor by
How long have you had it?
I got on pretty early, almost about 2.5 years now.
Oh, so did you pay an outright fee?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you've got it for life now, hey?
Yeah. So
you just got to update your band every now and then. Okay. So end of last year, you would have gotten like a full 12 months of like an annual report. Did you? Yeah. What were some of your takeaways from that? Did you dig into it or not really?
I did. The only thing I realized we had a really busy period at work, and you could just see it's like green, yellow, like your recovery. So green's good, yellow is moderate, red's bad. And then there was a really busy point at work, and it was just red, yellow. Like I just didn't get any sleep, and it's just crazy how much everything affects your body. You just forget that stress is accumulative. Stress at work, stress with a relationship, stress in the gym. So that's been the best takeaway for me, that, why am I not feeling good? Oh, it's because I'm feeling this or feeling that. Yeah.
It's so good. I agree. I mean, I think in the future, every person that goes to the gym, or maybe everyone's going to have something similar to a Whoop band.
Yeah.
But the thing is with the like tracking your sleep, I find that it gives you so much more understanding of what that actually means, because, everyone says you're going to sleep, you should be sleeping, 7 to 8 hours per night. But then there's such a big confusion between time in bed and actual sleep. How's your sleep efficiency? Do you get that from the Whoop?
Yeah, it's not bad. I never hit 100%.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, I don't think, there's a few people. We've got a team, like a Whoop team at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, and some people, they're sleeping like 10 hours a night. And even if I have all the time in the world, I'll be lucky. I'll hit around 7 hours. And I think it says to aim for about 8.5.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, talking about that, your sleep need. Like, people don't know. They think, I was in bed for 8 hours. I got 8 hours sleep. I was like, that's definitely not how it works. 2 Christmases ago, my mate, devastatingly took his life. Someone who was very close to me, very close, affected all the water polo community all around Australia. And that's when I had the Whoop. I was in bed for 9 hours, or even 9 hours of sleep, and you could see no deep sleep, nothing like that. Like, I'd go to bed at 10, wake up at 8, and I'd be like, oh yeah, great, that's 10 hours sleep. And it said, oh no, you got 5 hours sleep. Wow. I don't even remember being awake, and it'd say 4.5 hours awake.
Yeah, it's almost like
wouldn't
half
even remember
the time,
it.
right? Yeah.
Because people think, I woke up once during the night, but they don't realize that they'll wake up so many times to just not remember it.
That's exactly what happened to me. I always thought I was a heavy sleeper.
Yeah.
And because I never remember my dreams, or not never, but very rarely.
Yeah.
And I'm out cold, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, because I spend 8 to 9 hours in bed.
Yeah.
And then I realized my sleep efficiency is actually quite bad, and that's why I've started taking the phone off. Right. And I try, the last few weeks I've only no phone in the bedroom, and I go to sleep whenever I feel tired, so around 8:39ish.
Yeah.
And then no alarm, nothing. I just wake up when I wake up.
Yeah, nice.
But I still get way less sleep than what I thought, right? And it's like stuff you're saying, like if it's stress at work or something on your mind, I
tell that the Matthew Walker Why We Sleep book, the quote that he has in there, like, how does he say it? If you could put in a pill the benefits of sleep, it would be like an illegal drug. Like it's that good. Everything that you want to improve, sleep more.
Yeah.
Pretty much sleep more, sleep better.
That's I remember that vividly from the book as well, and that's because I'm about to finish it now, and it's really inspired me to try and improve on my sleep. You know, like try and cut out the caffeine. Yeah. Realize that when you drink too much, it doesn't actually help you sleep. You knock yourself out, but your sleep is terrible.
And it's getting better, but it's still such an old school thing of, oh no, you got to wake up early. Like I saw this stupid entrepreneur thing on Instagram. He's like, if you sleep 4 hours, that's 20 hours. You're getting 4 hours advance on your competition. It's like,
well, you're probably losing 10 years of your life.
Exactly. Like depends what you want, or you're probably operating at a slower level.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because I can, you know, like being in a creative job, I can definitely feel the difference. Yeah. When I'm tired, I just like, I've got no interest even in doing stuff, and like I'm editing, and it's like, whatever, I just want to get this done. Yeah. But when you feel rested and recovered, you're like all peppy and like, I'll try this new stuff here and there. Yeah. It's so helpful.
Going back to never working 2 night shifts in a row, that's the best part about it. Like you'll be so grumpy, like I'll get home, I'll be so snappy. It's just, but you just know that, all right, I've got another 24 hours before I go to work. I'll have a nap now, I'll have some coffee, and then I'll push through, and then I'll get to 8, I'll go to bed, and I'll wake up the next day. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like so much when you're tired, just everything seems so hard. Like I just get.
And you eat worse, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Way worse.
Like this isn't a scientific thing, but someone told me, they're like, your body heals itself in 2 ways, sleep and food. So if you sleep less, you'll want to eat more. Like that's no way scientific, but it's a good way to think about it, because whenever you're, like when I'm tired from a night shift, I feel hungover. Like I'm like, I want to go to Macca's and get me a bacon egg McMuffin. Just I need something to perk me up. But it's like, no, you just need sleep. You don't
get
need
more food, which could really mean that you need sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
So with food, give me some examples of what's a go-to healthy version of a dinner for you.
Oh god,
when you're being good.
Is this on shift?
Either or. Let's go either or. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. So I love cooking, but at a fire station, I try to just do a bit of meal prep and just take meals. But so I'll do something like, I'm the biggest tight ass. I go to the shops. All right, what meat's on sale? Yeah. What kind of carb is on sale? And then what veggie is on sale? And that's kind of what I put together. So right now, kangaroo sausages have been on sale. Brie hates it because she hates the smell. So I'm cooking up kangaroo sausages, sticking out the place. Kanga bangers. So Aussie. So yeah, I'll do that. But it's really good that on shift, most fire stations do like a cook up, because it's like you're living with them. You live with them, you train with them. Yeah. So I've learnt, one of the boys from work is a Filipino, and he does this really nice green curry. So I've been trying to learn his recipe off him. Like it's chicken green curry.
That's a go-to recipe. Yeah. Because it's so easy to use for lunch next day.
And the thing is, when you do it at work, you can just he cooks it up all in a big bowl. We go get a call, he just covers it up, and we can come back 2 hours later, heat it up again and go. Yeah. Like I've cooked, we tried to do salmon and salad, and you get a call to a house fire, and you come back and you're like, oh, do we really want this half-cooked salmon? What do we do with it?
And if you put it, you can't put it in the microwave. That's
so if you go to any fire station, you'll see the slow cooker 9 times out of 10 getting used. Oh yeah. I did a slow cooked massaman curry one time. It was due to come out. We were going to eat at 6:30. We got a factory fire. And then we ended up coming back at 12:30, and we're all sitting around having curry at like 1 a.m. in the morning. But it was like turned to mush, but at least it was at least we had something there.
Yeah, because I guess with a slow cooker, you can put it on like lower heat even, high, low, and then I think even keep it warm type of thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I used to slow cook a lot in winter, but not so much in summer. No, but it's super easy.
So good, yeah. And that's probably it's fiery proof, which just like you can't go wrong with it.
That's a good point. Yeah. And what about at home when you do some cooking? Is it just
right now we've been doing HelloFresh, where you get the meals delivered. Oh yeah. Which I recommend that to anyone, because I'm so.
Do you get the meal finished, or do you still make it?
No, so you still cook it. So that's a good thing. You kind of still feel like a chef, but it makes you cook. For me, I've got like 4 recipes that I'll just cook. I'll do like my green curry, and then I'll do something else, another stir fry, and then a lamb roast, and then it'll just be that repeated. Whereas this one, they'll deliver it to you. We get 4 meals a week, and it'll be like a pasta or a stir fry and something that I'd never cook, schnitzel. Yeah. But like kind of healthy versions of it. Like,
do they decide it, or do you pick it?
You can pick, I think there's like 10 meals, and then you pick 4 or 5, however many you want each week. So that's been good for me, because I get so stuck in, this is what I cook. Like, it's too hard
to
find
every day.
recipe online. Like there's millions of it. I need someone to tell me, cook this. It's really good. I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'll put up a thing for book recommendations. I can't just go to a bookstore and find a book. I need someone to be like, read this, watch this on Netflix, listen to this podcast.
Word of mouth is the best.
Yeah.
It's the most
that's
trustworthy, right?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then for breakfast, what do you generally have for breakfast?
Usually depends how close to training. I don't like to eat a heavy meal like 2 to 3 hours before. So if I have something like 3 hours before, it'll be like oats, maybe with some protein in there, some true protein in there.
Nice.
Like,
so if you train early, you train fasted?
I won't train fasted, but I'll just try to have some like liquid carbs, something like that, like something like a Gatorade and something, just so I'm fueled up. Just because I found if I'm fasted, I'll just bonk. I'll be halfway through a workout and I just won't have the energy. Whereas I'll just have something quick, even if it's just some honey on a bit of toast or something like that. Something quick and digestible, otherwise I'll feel real heavy.
Yeah.
And that's something that some people at home, they should play around with, just see how you feel. You might feel real sluggish, but what did you have? Did you have eggs? So you've just had protein and fat. Yeah. No wonder why you're not feeling good. You need something quick. So
stomach goes a bit funny. Yeah. I don't train too much in the morning, but if I do, I'll just train fasted. I drink just wake up, drink heaps of water. Yeah. Just because it's so close to training for me.
Yeah. See, I'm lucky enough. I usually do the 9:30 class at the gym. I'll train then and then coach in the Arvos. So that's good. I love that. Like it's me and then generally all these mums coming with prams, and it's like when I first came to CrossFit, it's so good. I love it though. Like they are like, it's a lot more motivational than seeing like the big dogs lift, because for me, they come in, this one lady, Betty, she comes in with her 3 kids, or some of them at school now. She's a nurse, so she comes off the back of a 16-hour shift. She drops the kids to school. She does all this. Then she comes in, she pumps out muscle ups and stuff like that. I was like,
oh, wow.
Okay, I got no excuses. I got a pretty good life, and I like can't complain about, I get to train. So it's really motivational seeing how much hard work they put in.
I love those stories because they don't get told too much. Like we're always looking at the people that are competing, that's right. Or, the rich Fronings or whoever's best at the gym. But I couldn't agree more. Having done it for so long, it's kind of, I've seen it all. Yeah. Like I've trained with, I haven't been at that level, but I've trained with a lot of people at that level. Yeah. It's like, it's the same. They're full-time athletes basically. Yeah. But when you run a family and you have a job, and like that's one of the reasons why I find you really interesting. It's like you have shift work. I would not be able to function, I think, on shift work. I would just be a zombie all the time. Like, that's crazy.
I was having this discussion with someone last night when I was coaching one of the boys clean and jerking 140, which is very impressive. But he's been playing footy all his life. He's been lifting all his life. So it's like, okay. And then there's this guy here who's, how old he be? 30, never gone to the gym in his life until he started CrossFit 2 years ago. And now he can do muscle ups. Now he can snatch. He couldn't even... he was squatting the barbell when he started, and then he PR'd his squat. He got 110, which is awesome. But most people are 110. Oh yeah, that's all right. But for him, that's the best. And it's the same thing with nutrition for me. I love those stories. Like I'm not too fussed about manipulating carbs and sodium and stuff like that.
1%.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got everything else wrong.
Yeah, I'm more the people who they're not interested at all, and then all of a sudden they see this world because, like, I love it. I'm so passionate about it, and I just love teaching people and showing people that, like, look, this is how happy you can be and how much better things can be. Yeah. Like if you see those small improvements every day, like it should be the best hour of your day when you come into the gym. Yeah.
It's such like if you get nutrition and training and build those to what I don't call it, but I guess people call it like a keystone habits. Yeah. Like that, the way that can improve someone's life, it's ginormous. Yeah. That's what's cool being a trainer, right? Like you see that. Yeah. Like when you have someone in there for a year or 2 years and they've gradually changed into this person that has those two things. Yeah. Not nailed down. No one gets it perfectly. No one. But they've improved so much within those two spaces. It's just, it can make all the difference.
Definitely.
Yeah. So with you as a trainer and like a firefighter and everything, is that something you're planning to try and balance for the next few years, or do you have anything like, within your trainer scope that you want to try and achieve some new goals for the, it's 2020, it's a new decade and all that. What's coming up for Ryan? What do you want to achieve?
Oh, good question. So fireys wise, I'm studying to get the next rank. So the way it works, you come out, you're a recruit, you're then a level 1, a level 2, a qualified firefighter. I'm now a senior firefighter, and then the next level up is a leading firefighter. So fireys wise, that's what I'm studying for.
Do you have to do like speciality courses?
You can. There's like hazmat, rescue, aerial, there's stuff like that. You don't have to. But for me, I can just get real lazy. So I need to be doing something. So if I say, all right, I'm studying, like it doesn't mean I'm going to do the test this year, maybe next year, whenever it is, but I just know, all right, I'm studying. That's what I do. So I just studying, like I said, it may only be half an hour a day, but over the course of a year, it'll be a lot.
Yeah.
So that's Fireys wise. Coaching, I'm just incredibly happy at Kirawee. Like Mitch and Meg have just got something special there that just, like I said, I walked into the gym 2 years ago, 9:30 class, and there's these mums there, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty strong, pretty good. And then they're pumping out muscle ups, and I'm chicken wing my muscle ups. I'm like, oh God, I got to step up. And then coaching there, I've learnt so much, and you just realize that there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like you forget that, is it the Dunning-Kruger? I think that's what
Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah.
Where you think you know, and then you find out you know nothing. So that's kind of where I'm at now, that hopefully I'm building up, where I'm like, oh no, I think I know some stuff, but then you see other people, you're not really.
The people that yell the loudest, they're the ones that don't really know.
Yeah.
Like the less you know, the more knowledge you think you have.
Yeah.
But the more of an expert you become, you realize, shit, I don't know anything.
That's right. Yeah. So I just love coaching. I just tell Mitch, like I said to you before, I don't do it to be rich. I could go drive a truck or dig holes and make more money. But I'm very passionate about helping people, and I love it. And then just CrossFit training wise, I don't know, just continuing. Hopefully next year, maybe Kirawee get a team for some competitions for sanctionals.
There's a ton of sanctionals and competitions going around. So are you going to do any competitions this year at all?
I haven't got any picked out. Like I said, there was Tribal Clash, which is happening tomorrow, but I'll be working, so I wasn't able to do it. But
sorry, Nick Brabot.
I'm sure he'll love it. He'll get some big waves, and he'll be the only one out there.
Get some 8-foot waves done in Wollongong.
That's right.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have any lined up, but
any training goals at all? Anything you haven't done that you want to achieve? Is there like, a lot of people get, I know you already have muscle ups and stuff like that, but do you want to hit certain weights at a snatch, or is this something that you're trying to work a little bit towards?
Definitely need to get my clean up. So I split jerked 145 the other day, and my clean's all the way down at 125. So I kind of need to get that
even
up a bit.
them out a little bit?
Yeah. But I just love the process. Like I know some people are very goal orientated and they have something writ up and cross it off. All right, I'm going to get there, cross it off. But I just love coming in, training. I'm still a bit of a frother. I just like just the steady state of improving. And then some days when you have a bit low and you're not feeling too good, and then you look back in your training diary or from a video and you're like, oh God, that's what I used to do. Yeah, that's right.
That's a great point. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I definitely don't have any training goals in the CrossFit gym anymore. I just want to come in, stay injury free, and stay healthy. But you go through different stages, right? I think probably in the early days, you might have been like, all right, I want to snatch 100 kilos.
I just wanted to outlift Amy. That was my only goal.
Nice. Yeah, Amy weighs like about, I should be careful here. Probably less than 60 kilos. Yeah. So, but she lifts really well. But it is different. You go through, parts of what I call the honeymoon phase, like the early days of CrossFit. And you just want to get better at everything all at once. And then, you realize, hey, just slow down a little bit. But it's still such a good training, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome to have you. And
pleasure.
I'm sure we'll get you back on again to talk more.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers, mate.